Okay, well, I
Hello.
wrapped up with Alex a little bit fast so that we could talk to Everett in Michigan, who had a very similar question. Everett, what's on your mind tonight?
I just wanted to ask about how do you figure out certain parts of your identity? Because right now I'm kind of like in that moment where I'm trying to discover certain parts of my identity.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I would say that the best ways are really through what I'm going to maybe call the looking glass self. This idea that you can best understand yourself by seeing how other people see you. And that doesn't mean that other people get to define you or get to tell you who you are, but I would encourage you to interact with other folks and to see how do they see their gender. What does it mean for them to see themselves as a man or as a woman or as some of these other identities? And then to talk about perhaps how they see you and how that resonates or doesn't resonate with how you see yourself. Certainly, there are some incredible books, and I might point you first and foremost to How to Understand Your Gender by Meg John Barker and John Ifanetti. Uh, but really, it's a question that you ask yourself as rigidly and as often as you choose to, and hopefully not any more than that. Eve, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, I think also, one of the most enjoyable parts about life is experiencing it. And so as much fun as it is to be able to find an identity and really hone in on who you feel you are, I think it's also okay to be in that place of questioning and enjoy that time too and not feel like you have to um put a label on it or rush to any conclusions about yourself or even feel stuck or married to something specifically. Just enjoy getting to know yourself and like Christy said, through the eyes of others and through your own eyes as well. One of my favorite things to do lately is to take myself on a date, go to my favorite spot by myself, order a drink, and sit with myself and kind of examine my interactions with the servers there, examine my interactions with, the other stranger next to me at the bar and get to know myself that way. So I would encourage you to maybe find some things like that as well that you enjoy doing on your own to get to know yourself and enjoy yourself. And I think identity oftentimes comes from that place as well.
Mhm.
Um, Thank you for that. What was I going to talk about again? Hang on a few seconds. Um, uh-oh. All
Yeah, well,
right.
that's all right. I know this can
So
be a little bit nerve-wracking,
how do
and
you,
gender is one of those like nebulous things that's really difficult to wrap your mind around.
yeah,
What was your question?
but also how do you identify when you're like experiencing an attraction to someone? Because personally, I've like looked at pretty women online and got like this great feeling of like I want to snuggle this person, but I don't feel like wanting to have like sexual and like anything sexual or like even kissing them on the mouth. But
Mhm.
I'm still not sure. Is that just wanting to snuggle someone randomly? Like maybe because I didn't have a positive motherly figure and it's me wanting to have one? Or is it actual romantic attraction?
Who's to say? I think you are, and it's okay if the verdict is still out. I would say that oftentimes, or sometimes anyway, we can sort of look at our desires, at our experiences, and try to run those to ground and say, "Oh well, yes, it makes sense. I had this experience in high school, and that's why I now have a banana kink or whatever the silly thing is." But for the vast majority of time it's usually best to just sort of accept that this is how I feel, that this is what I want, that this is what I think. And we don't necessarily need to run those things to ground or to like force them to justify their existence. Certainly, we want to be maybe curious about our instincts and questioning some of our desires without necessarily judging them. But as far as is this attraction? Is this romantic attraction? Is this, whatever else? How do we describe it? How do we define it? I don't know that anybody can honestly answer that question other than you. that being said, if you would like to tell me maybe a little bit more about your experience or about what it is that you're feeling and thinking and what that looks like for you, we might be able to kind of pull that apart and suss that out together.
Hmm. Well, usually it would be like, okay, scrolling through Twitter or some other online thing.
Hmm.
Boom, attractive woman pops up. And I'm like, oh, they're pretty. I would snuggle them and give them snacks.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, what you're describing could be admiration. It could be even a form of maybe envy. Oftentimes I will talk to folks who are making these discoveries around their gender or around their orientation. And as we start to get into it, they start to realize, oh, I wasn't necessarily attracted to that person. I wanted to be that person, or sometimes vice versa. What I can really say, or the only thing that I would really feel comfortable saying definitively in any kind of meaningful way, is that if you are respectful and kind and communicative, that you're allowed to explore these things with other people and see how you feel, to maybe kiss somebody and see if you enjoy kissing them, to maybe go on a date with somebody and see if you enjoy going on a date with them.
Oh, yes,
You're not
the ye
making a
old
promise or a
let us
commitment.
kiss, see if we gay test.
I mean, there's certainly some value in it. I don't care who you are. If you've never decided to suck a dick, if you've never decided to kiss a man or a woman or tried some of these different experiences, I would want to know why. There's only so much life that we get on this planet, and to miss out on some fundamental aspect of our humanity or of your identity because you weren't curious enough to try, I would definitely encourage people to be brave here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us a call. You have a great night.
Thanks, Everett.